And now they're all in our government, running our government, and they don't have a clue of what they're doing. And, you know, they're the ones that are going to lose big in the end, because some of them are going to end up dead and executed because of what they're doing. Whereas at the state level and at the county level, that's where the action's going to be. And you're going to see states, I think, go in very different directions, but I think they'll come back to the Constitution. I think there'll be a restoration of the constitutional law as it was originally intended, which means that states will have a lot more power. I mean, states today in the United States have economies individually that are bigger than many nations around the world. So we shouldn't have a centralized government the way we do now ever again. There's no need for it, and it's proven that it can't function.
And you teed something up perfectly, and you said something really fundamental that, you know, we're seeing, and this is already happening. I mean, this is the way, you know, our world is functioning, our country's functioning today. There's this decentralization effect where you said, like Harry Dent, you know, says, you know, a person is their own economy. We're seeing people, you know, able to, you know, enter politics like yourself, and through the power of information and technology and social media, this is changing government. This is altering the landscape of all systems, whether or not they're economic, social, you know, health-related. It really doesn't matter, but there poses a problem, and it's why we're going to have a lot of problems, in my opinion, going forward. The same bullies that you were mentioning in high school that are now running the show and still picking on people and picking on the American people, they do not want to give up their power. And you said so yourself, and I believe this to be the truth, is that, you know, the government and the system in its current form can't and will not survive in this new paradigm. It just won't. It's just like the big banks. They cannot survive in this new paradigm. It's exactly why they went broke in 2008. And it's exactly why the federal government, you know, owns, even to this day, a majority stake in these institutions. So the question is, well, what happens? These people don't want to, big government doesn't want to give up their power. Yet there's this destabilization effect. And we have a lot of mainstream Republicans, too. And I mentioned this earlier, where, you know, a lot of mainstream Americans have become radicalized because they see the policies that are taking shape right now. They see how the government's willfully, you know, trying to disarm them. This is striking an emotional chord. It's why we're going to have problems, and why I see ultimately, and I really believe this, I see civil war, and it might not be in the sense of what we're familiar with, of what we learned and how we think of history, but we are very much living in a modern-day civil war today, living through it now. And this is all taking shape, and we're going to see this develop over the next couple of years. It's going to be challenging, but it's also a tremendous opportunity to restore a lot of the principles and values and freedom and things that, you know, God-fearing, good Americans believe in my opinion. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, at some point you say to people like that, you know, what I did is I contacted the federal government, the Congress, and the White House, and I said, if you've got a list of patriots that you're putting on lists for people to put in camps, then make sure you put my name on the list. And I also said, I have a couple of different speeches that have done very well. One of them was, Mr. Obama put me on the White House kill list, and if Obama sends police to take your guns, civil war, and if Obama sends police to take your guns, execute them. You know, at some point you say to this person, say there's some person, okay, that's going to bully you and that wants to take your guns. So you say, well, look, if you're going to do that, then I'm not going to wait in my house. If you decide to come to my neighborhood or my community, I'm not going to wait in my house for you. I'm going to come out and I'm going to find you first. And I've already said that publicly, and I'll do that alone. If the current governor of our state wants to disarm people, then I want him to come do it to me personally, and I'll tear his throat out. And I want everybody to understand that I'm saying that as a governor candidate, and I would say that to his face. I would say that to anybody's face. Look, the only reason why men are free and women are free is because they won't tolerate that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There's certain things that are worth dying for universally. And there's certain things that are universally sacred. And life is one of those things. And you don't go down the path of Nazi Germany. If you study history, you see that they put the people in little neighborhoods called ghettos, and then they separated from their families. They took all their property, and, it just goes one thing after another. And you have to decide for yourself personally. And you have to say it to their face, in their eye. You have to say, this is what I won't tolerate. And that's it. And that's it. And then you've made your decision. And when the time comes, hopefully it doesn't come, but you follow through. And I've already made that decision for myself. I can only inspire other people to make the same decision for themselves. But these liberals, these weak people, I say to them, I'd like to see you actually come and try to enforce this kind of gun legislation on people like me, because it's just not going to work out well for you. And I think more of our military and I think more of our police officers than that. I think there are a lot of stupid ones, like the ones down in, I think was it in Texas, where they did the cavity search and then now they've been indicted?
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah.
There are stupid police officers.
Sure.
I tried to become a police officer when I was younger, and I was the top scorer in Orange County, and it was almost impossible for me to get an interview. And then later on, I started reading about these articles where if your IQ is too high, you can't get hired. And so it was sad for me, because all I wanted to do was be a good cop when I was younger. And so I went on to grad school, and I became a family therapist instead, which, obviously is a higher up the food chain. But I would have been satisfied to just been a good community cop. But I can't do that because of the nature of the beast. And that's the thing, is that, look, these idiots, I mean, you've got these arrogant narcissist psychopaths like Barack Obama at the federal level, and then they just hire stupid people, because only stupid people will do what they say. And it's those stupid cops that are going to come out and challenge men like me, and they're going to get the worst of it, because they haven't got what it takes. They're not smart enough. We're talking about a class of servants to the elite that are evil in themselves, and they're just dumb. That's what they're made fun of. If you watch children's movies, you always have like the leader of the wicked people, and they have really dumb servants. Well, think of Labyrinth. Think of
the dumber
Beauty. All these kids movies. It's like that in real life.
Yeah, the dumber the better. And I want to make sure our audience knows how to get in touch with you, how they can support you. We've got about a minute left. I know they can find you on YouTube at David Lory. That is your username. Where else can they find you, David?
Go to NevadaGovernor2014.com. You can follow the campaign. You can support, donate, volunteer.
Okay, well, fantastic. David, great to have you on the show. We'll certainly have you back. I'll get this rebroadcasted in the not-too-distant future. Stay tuned, everybody. I'm Christopher Green. As always, hard-hitting and in your face. Thanks, David.
Thank you.